record here.
This meeting is being recorded.
So you can all edit out that we're being recorded, and we'll get going for this lovely month of September. Well, I wanted to start things out by the good news, bad news stuff. Going to start with the bad. We lost a member, Bill Roos, and he passed away just at the end of August. And of course, Bill was quite a guy in the community of Findlay in Hancock County, and a past district governor of Rotary, and he brought us several new members. And just it's a shame that we only got to have him for a short time. So on that same day, we had some really good news. Our club's main project, the Guatemala Literary Project, co-ed, of course, was the cover story of Rotary World magazine. And how cool is that? I mean, those guys have done an amazing job, and I'm so proud that we can help support the work they've done down there. And with Jennifer Jones being really interested in the project and going down there this year, it's only going to get more exposure in the world of Rotary. So that was cool. Just yesterday, got the note from Dee that we were named a Rotary Citation Club. So it's just amazing to me, in a year that was a really tough year, 21 and 22, and all the stuff that people had to fight through with COVID and everything else, that our club managed to get recognized for all the good work you guys have put together and done. And Dee really did a great job, I think, leading us through all this stuff. So I am going to say we don't have Miggy here yet, who was the other young man who participated in the Cultural Connections program that we tried earlier this year. And when he does get on, if he does get on, I'd like to have he and Eli talk about that program. But we will see what happens with that. Good morning, Claudine. Welcome. Good to see you again. So the big point of this meeting, though, and having it on this odd time, is to let the folks from Europe and South Africa join us. So what I wanted to start out with is put them on the spot and tell us a little bit about themselves, for those of you who have never met them or seen their faces on screen before. And I'm just going to start alphabetically with Bernice, who's got her own two face. Are you ready to do some talking about yourself, or are you in the middle of something?
I'm guessing she's calling Mickey.
I'm calling her quickly to see if what's the problem, because
I'll let you go with that then, and I'll put Renee on the spot.
Hi.
Renee's next up. Renee, can you tell us about where you're at in Germany and a little bit about yourself, and of course, how you got to Rotary? You're muted.
All right, this should work now. All right, well, thanks, Steve. And again, great to see you all. I think this is almost the first time I see all of you. And thanks, Steve, for making that possible. As I'd love to join, but it's in the middle of the night for me, usually on Mondays. So haven't made it yet. My name is Rene. I am a former exchange student with the Ohio program. I think it was Salina back then, when in 1994, 95, when I did this great move to go to the US, spend a year with two families there. And this is actually one of my two things that I would believe are the most important things that happened to me in my life. I think the first one is I grew up in the eastern part of Germany, which I think many of you know that things have been very limited over there, and led by a Russian manipulated government. There wasn't much for us to really go to travel and to experience. So, and that was one of the first things that I guess were a major thing in my life. In '89, the wall came down, and we were actually, feeling some freedom, and a lot of doors open for us. And the second thing, I guess, was when I was able to go to the US and really, be in a foreign country for a whole year, staying with two great families. And every time I look back, and I think of this 1 year in the US, this is just has so much impact on my everyday life. It's still something that I talk about when I meet new people. When I apply for a job, this is always the first thing you have to talk about, and I can always share so many good things. And yeah, helped a lot, and I can just for the two in this round here, I think it's Eli and I forgot the other name, but as they did this online exchange, I think that's already great. But then going abroad actually and being away from the family, that's probably the next step to taking the next step. So yeah, I'm here in Germany in the very south, close to the French border actually. We moved here 3 years ago, built a new home. I started a new job here in this area, originally coming from Berlin. But my wife is from Stuttgart, from this area here, and yeah, we kind of like it here. It's a very nice area, very good wine. I can always recommend when you're here to stop by. Yeah, so I have two kids, my son Philip and Paulina. They're 8 and 6. Paulina just started school last week, and Philip is in 4th grade actually. And I think when I talked to Jim and Sue the other or last year, I said this could be something that would be interesting for Philip to do as well. So I'm trying to talk him into doing a thing like that. And yeah, I'm showing him all the pictures. Back then we didn't have any kind of internet, so we actually printed photos, and I still have those photo books that I show him all the time. He always enjoys that, and yeah, so that's, I guess, my story. I'm very happy that I got in contact with Sue, and that she actually sponsored me to be part of this group. I'm really happy. It's great to be part of the Rotary family, as it had a big impact on my life. So I like to give something back to others that may be in the same position like me. So yeah, I'd love to do more actually, and again, it's with that online program, it's nice, but actually trying to find someone here in the area, or a club that I can be a little bit more active. Actually found one that sponsored me in 1994, so I will probably try to see them. It's like an hour away from here, and they have actually started to have real meetings again. So you can actually go there and then try to see what they are doing and to be more active in the area here. Like you guys, I'm always amazed what all you're doing. So yeah,
Well,
that's my story.
thank you so much, Renee. I mean, that's great. And that's what we wanted to do this for, is to find out, what you guys have going and how you got to us. And it's the thing of, as Chris and other people and Jim and Sue have gotten me out to meet real live Rotarians in the flesh here post-COVID. I think one of the benefits we've got with having this online club is that not only can we do this stuff and do stuff together, but we can get out in our local communities, get together with other Rotary clubs and try and, help them out and do local things as well. So we got the benefits of both going on here. So Bernice, I'm going to jump back to you then. And you want to tell us your story of where you are, what you do, and how the heck you got to Rotary in our club.
Hi, I just spoke to Jana. He didn't get a connection, but I just sent it to him. So he should be on, and I don't think they have load shedding right now. We just finished our load shedding about an hour ago. So, so I'm in South Africa. At the time I was an exchange student, I stayed in Welkom, which is Afrikaans for welcome, literally. So I grew up there. And then I was in high school. I couldn't decide what I wanted to become. I wanted to be a DJ and a mechanic and a hotel manager and everything. So I couldn't decide, and then Rotary came to our school, and we had to write an essay, and I wrote that, and then interview process, and I was chosen. It was actually, I think, besides the interviews for work that I've had to go through in the past couple of years, that was one of the most daunting things I had to do at a very young age. I was only 17 at that stage, or 16. I only turned 17 in matric, and I only turned 18 when I was in Ohio. So I was very young at that stage. And yeah, then I was an exchange student. And just like Renee was saying, I came over as an exchange student on the year 1991, when apartheid was dismantled, pretty much the start of the dismantling started in South Africa. And we couldn't even fly directly to America. I had to fly via, I speak under correction, but I think it was somewhere in Europe. I think it was Netherlands or somewhere. I can't even remember. But it was very expensive, and I had to fly. It was the longest flight I've ever. It was my first flight out of a country, first time on an airplane. And I think I had to do 4 flights before I even got to Ohio, just the way we had to go. So yeah, it was quite interesting, the timing I went. I think Nelson Mandela had just been released from prison. And so it was that whole change. Yeah. So we also went through quite a lot of stuff. But being a young kid, actually, I didn't even know what was going on in politics. I wanted to make sure I was with my friends and play sport and go to school. It's only after that when I actually came back and realized what a big impact it was actually making when the elections and that happened. But then, yeah, so I was an exchange student in Ohio, and I was in Ilaria. Jim and Sue were my first host parents, and Phil and Jean Schaefer, unfortunately, are both passed now, were my, in essence, third host parents, but my middle host parents, we don't really count as part of my exchange, unfortunately. But it was an experience, needless to say. It made me realize how many different people you can deal with. But those were my host parents. I stayed there most of my time. And yeah, I had the most amazing time. I think I was Jim and Sue's second exchange student. Oscar was before me, so I was the second one in the long line of children they've had. I was worried that after me, they'd never have another one. Because I think I was a handful. But it was the best time I've ever had. I was spoiled. I was taken everywhere. And that's where I also decided on my career is Greg White. Yeah, Greg White was the district attorney, so basically prosecutor in our language. And he took me to court one day with him to go and see what he does. And before I'd left, the prosecutors had been at our school on a school career day. And I thought it sounded interesting, but at that stage, the only thing I knew about law was the jury system and all that. We didn't even have a jury system in South Africa. So I didn't really know very much about it. And I went with him to court, and that's where I was like, this is what I want to do. So that's where I decided that formed my future. And while I was there, the applications for bursaries for prosecution and studying degrees came out, and I applied for it. And when I came back, I'd been accepted into that program. And that's where my career started. So yeah, I came back from, and in I think 7 days later, I started working and studying, but in the law. So I'm now an advocate. I've had a bit of a career direction change halfway through, but I think it was my midlife crisis. I didn't buy a Porsche. I bought a flower shop, which was the worst thing I've ever done. But it was just the law. I was in the law for 20 odd years, and then just decided I couldn't do that anymore. And then did a flower shop for a little while, and then worked at a varsity with students, and then realized I'd rather work with criminals any day. So I went back into prosecution, and that's where I am now. I'm a state advocate at the Director of Public Prosecutions. I mostly work with organized crime and those kind of things. Yeah, and I'm married, have 2 children. My daughter is 24. She is finished her degree. She's busy studying psychology. So she's finished her first degree. She's got to start her honors, but she's working in Thailand as an English teacher and going to be studying online, and she's doing that. And my son is 18. He's what we call a gap year. He's took the year off after he finished grade 12. But next year he's going to be studying a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. So he's doing a degree in computer programming and that kind of thing. He's a gamer, likes all those kind of things. Yeah, my husband was an ex-policeman. He's now in insurance. And in the last 2 months, he started a new job. We sold our house, moved house. So it's been a little bit hectic. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Well, thank you so much, Bernice. And I mean, that's really wonderful. And it's just so exciting how Rotary has changed so many lives, and especially the exchange program. Now, we had one of the people that was at our Cultural Connections program just join us, Miggy, and we'll have he and Eli tell us about that. But I want to go to Elda, our program chair in Germany, and the person who, for this program, I have put through the ringer. Originally, she was going to get us somebody to be a speaker today, and then I asked her to be the speaker. And then we went to, oh no, we'll just have the people who are in Europe who can join us, tell us in Africa, tell us about themselves. So Elda, at this point, would you tell us how you got to Rotary and how you got to our club? And unmute yourself to do it. You're on mute still. So click the magic unmute button. Good morning.
Hi, Steve.
Good afternoon.
So getting to Rotary, yeah, since when I've been living in Germany, I came across Rotary through internet from a friend of mine that I've been working back then in Albania. He years ago posted something where he took part of, and I became thankful to that. And then I was reading a little bit here and there, and I wanted always, but I didn't try until late, and then I tried to join here, and that was not really, I wasn't getting any answers or reasons for not being able to join. And well, so, a beautiful night, I was just with my cell phone on the hand, and I was thinking, okay, let's try something else besides Germany, Ohio, maybe. And well, yes, I saw our club. And I sent an invitation, I sent a link, so a message there, and well, I got contacted by Jim and everybody, and then I got sponsored and were able to join the club, and it's really interesting, and I really love it. It feels like home. So that's my story of joining Rotary.
Okay. Well, and thank you for everything, for stepping up and being program chair this year. Because
That's my pleasure.
Really appreciate you doing that. And you know, I did it last year, and I know it can be daunting to have to come up with something every single week, and be daunting to have to go out and reel it in from those of you who who were hoping we'll send her a program each week. And even if it's not the particular week you're supposed to do it, she'll take one anytime you want and take a look at it, so we have some content. So I'm going to move on to welcome to Miggy here. I get you just as you're pouring a glass of water. Sorry about that. Miggy and Eli Wilson were our first two participants in our Cultural Connections program, something we were trying during the wonderful world of COVID. And it's something that maybe something we can do beyond the restrictions, even though the youth exchange program is starting up again. But I wanted you two guys to tell us about how you felt it went and how it's been since we wrapped things up in March. I don't know which of you want to start here. Mr. Miggy, you're one there.
Hold on, I can't hear very well. I don't know what's wrong with the audio. I don't know. A lot of things wrong today. I don't know what's wrong.
Oh dear.
With audio. I can't hear myself. I can't see myself, nothing.
There you go. We can see you and hear you. So far so good. Well, how you been since March? What's up? First off. Maybe this will
I
work.
can't hear anything. I don't know what's wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna throw the ball then over to Chris and Eli. You guys wanna talk here and maybe you can pull Mickey in here if he can hear you?
Sure. So I think the program actually went really well, but as with any program, there are spaces to be improved with anything. But I definitely think the concept is very good with everything with the structure was pretty good. And I do think it was definitely a good experience for me and Miggy. Well, I can't speak for Miggy, but it was a good experience for me. And I definitely think it is something that almost everybody can benefit from, for sure.
Mickey, can you hear enough to chime in there, how you felt it went? Oh, the joys of the internet.
I think they're just struggling with the audio,
Audio.
and because I think she's working from their phone.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with the program, we got together very, very frequently in the beginning. It was pretty time intensive for the Rotarians involved, as well as the two guys. So closer to the end of the program, almost halfway through or even farther than halfway through, we started meeting less often and allowed the guys more freedom to get in contact with one another as they wanted. So officially we ended the program in March or something. And I know Eli was super busy, and I'm assuming Mickey is super busy. He's involved in all kinds of stuff and really involved at school. So the two of them really haven't communicated. Occasionally some pictures have been exchanged, and that's cool. I think their friendship probably will last forever. He looks pretty exacerbated right now. I hope he's okay.
Okay, good evening, good morning, good night. I now finally have audio.
Yay!
I may have looked like a mime for a while doing stuff you wouldn't understand, live stuff at the moment. Well, I'm about 26 minutes late, so I don't know what I missed and what I'm supposed to do at the moment. I'm quite confused.
Just tell us, all we wanted to find out is how you felt like the whole cultural connections thing. Was it fun? Did you learn something about American culture? And do you think we learned something about South African culture doing it? Was it worthwhile?
I'm sure it was worthwhile. It was an eye opener about how things in America really work, because everybody sees
Oh dear. I think he froze. Yeah, the wonders of Zoom. The downside of our experience here.
learned a
Hopefully,
lot from South
there you are.
African culture. Yeah, and I enjoyed it. It was very tough because there was a lot of things on the schedule, and sometimes it was very confusing for different things that needed to be on time on different dates and stuff. And the time zones played a big role in making it difficult, but working around all of that stuff, it was quite fun, to be honest. And I learned a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure you all who knows me learned a lot of stuff about me and my life and how my life works. And I'm pretty sure I learned a lot of stuff about you people. So that's basically all.
Well, that's great. That's what we wanted to hear. You froze in the middle there for a little bit, but I think we got the gist of the thing. I think in the end, as we get this organized, Mr. Jim, you want to throw in here?
No, I was just going to say, why don't they share talk about a few of the things that they did at the meetings, because none of the people present here were at those meetings and don't even know what we did. So why don't you tell a little bit about it, and if there was any of them that you really liked, you thought was a good idea. Don't tell us about the things that were horrible.
Well, first off, I didn't like the way you did this. I didn't like the way. Well, there are So there were several meetings where it was more just discussional, where we kind of just talked back and forth about different things. Then there were some other ones where there were actually assigned subjects to do. Like I believe we lost Maggie. There was one where we had to submit a video about our local area. And I really like that one because I like taking pictures. But there were several different things similar to that, but it definitely worked out well, and I liked it a lot for sure. Oh yeah, and the demonstrations. We did a demonstration of a thing we like to do.
The cooking episode, when you guys shared recipes and cook, was the one that I got to watch all of, and I really enjoyed that. They shared, Eli did Buckeyes, the Ohio official state candy, and Eli did a sweet from South Africa, which I can't remember the name of. But it was fun watching them put it together. And I mean, I don't think the Food Network could have done anything any better. You guys did a great job doing that. Okay, well, I think we lost Mickey. So I'm going to, let's see, if I still got Eloisa. Are you still with us? There you are. If you get on.
Yes, yes, I'm right here.
You just brought us a prospective new member. And you want to tell the club about who he is and what he is?
Yes, of course. His name is Benjamin, and Benjamin is a doctor. He lives in Mexico City, and he's very eager to serve because he's been in the Rotary family, not directly, but his mother has been president of the Majalca, Chihuahua Rotary Club in Mexico. So she's been very active, and they have been leading the ECAS, which is an educational health center, which is something very innovative, and it has a lot of potential to teach. Of course, they're doing corrective medicine, but their objective is to teach health strategies and education to a settlement of natives that have come down from the mountains in the state. And these are the natives that we are serving through the hunger relief and MESA with medical equipment to their clinics. So they're all tied together. So it makes it very interesting because we've been able to help the people, this small community in the city of Chihuahua, plus many other more rural clinics and hospitals through MESA. So I have the connection in Mexico because I lived there for many years, and that's where I became, of course, the first female charter president of District 4110 back in 1990, officially 91. But I had been working as a volunteer, and that's how I met Rotarians that came down from the Houston area in Texas to do a primary eye care clinic. So when I saw what Rotary was and how much good it did to people, that's when I decided I was inspired to become a Rotarian. So I'm very happy to be now a member of the Pathways Rotary Club. And I was sponsored by Bob Cook and also Jim, whom I call my padrino, my sponsor, my godfather. So just to bring a little bit of the Mexican culture. So I enjoy so very much meeting people from other parts of the world. I think it makes it a very unique experience for all of us. And I fell in love with Rotary, what it stands for, what it means, especially all the benefits it's brought to many people. Many people have recuperated their eyesight. Many children's lives were transformed when they went a cleft palate or cleft lip surgery. So it was just a wonderful experience, plus all the opportunities that we have had to serve and to meet people from indigenous and native communities. So I'm grateful. I'm very happy to be part of this club. And of course, we're currently working on MESA donations, more medical equipment. We've done 2 shipments and we're looking forward for a 3rd one. Yes. So
Great.
that's how I'm involved in Rotary, and I'm very happy to see young ones there too. So welcome all. Thank you,
Thank
Steve.
you, Eloisa. Thank you very much. And thank you for bringing Ben to us. And I hope he can join us next month at our meeting here. I'm
Hopefully.
going to throw out to Mr. George Dimitriadis. Did I pronounce it correctly? Thank you for joining us. What's your involvement with Rotary, sir?
Well, you pronounced my name perfectly, actually. I'm George. A few words about me. I'm George. I'm 37 years old. I'm from Greece, as I said before. I studied business management and marketing in the UK a lot of years ago. As for Rotary, I'm 5 years as a member, offering and benefiting the community was the things that made me search for an organization to join. I had no idea about Rotary. I never heard from everyone or knew what Rotary was. So I was trying to Google something and see what comes up. And I found Rotary. I spotted a club in my area. I knew the people, but I had no idea that these people were members of an organization like this. 5 to 6 years ago. And it was a great journey since now. We haven't done much as a club because we're a small, we're 27, 26 members, but with not much of things to do. Our district is not very active, to be honest. I'm trying to do a global grant for the past 2 years. It's a bit tricky to do a global grant these days, especially the funding. But I believe that if someone, a young man or a young person in general, has the courage and has it in mind to develop the community, then I think Rotary is the way to do. It's not only the only way, but it is one of the best ways to do, ways to try.
Oops, there you are. Now you're back. Well, thank you. And thank you for joining us this morning. I'm really glad you were interested and kind enough to come and join us. I mean, we are always looking for new people and new input. And I just wanted to, at this point, throw the floor open. Any questions anybody want to ask our European members? Anything anybody want to throw out there for the good of the cause this morning? Bernice.
You're introducing all the people from other countries, but we don't know the Rotarians that are there, except I know yourself and Jim, and I know Chris. So I think it might be good, even if the Rotarians just tell us again who they are and how they fit in.
I like it. I'm going to start with the guy in my upper right-hand corner here, Mr. Chuck Hoffine. You want to tell us about yourself and how you got to Rotary, Chuck?
You bet. My name's Chuck Hoffine. Firstly, the family name was Hofheinz, Hofheintz. So I'd reach out to my fellow Rotarians in Germany. If you know anybody by that name and they have a lot of money, would you please have them contact me quickly? I found kind of noodling around. I was in a Rotary Club and I needed to make some changes there. Discovered your club. And of course I ended up calling Jim Hunt. And that's the end of that story. He reeled me in like a big fish. I've been, yeah, and still here. Been about a year, I guess. I live in Connecticut, which is northeastern US. Married with 3 children who are in their late 40s. I have a son 47, a daughter 47, and another daughter 45, twins, and 8 grandchildren. I spent most of my career as a hospital accountant, and that's pretty much it. I spent a lot of time with Steve Miller. We seem to be talking quite a bit, have a lot in common.
Yep.
got to know him. I have not yet met anybody in person, but I hope to do that soon. So that's pretty much
Okay.
it.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chuck.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna do, Jim.
Well, Chuck, why don't you share the small world story about Steve?
About Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of convoluted, but I must have a little too much time on my hands. We used to live in Columbus, very close to the Port Columbus International Airport. And I would listen on the scanner for the tower chatter, which is kind of interesting. And there was one in particular controller who sounded like a radio disc jockey. I mean, this guy could have been right out of the radio. And the pilots would actually comment about this guy. Well, lo and behold, when I got to know Steve, he was that controller at Port Columbus. He said people called him that all the time. And he also worked as a DJ. And was it Marion, Steve?
Yes, it was Marion.
Marion. So you listen to his voice and you'll see the radio in him. And he also could probably land some planes too. And he also, to clear up one misconception, he did not land a 707 at a small airport in Columbus. He claims he did not do that, but it was quite a news story many years ago.
Many, before my time.
Sure, Steve. Yeah.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Thanks, Jim.
Okay.
And
well,
Sue too. Sue's been a great big help.
And spinning the fickle finger of hi, who's next? I'm going to go alphabetically. Claudine Whitfield. Good morning. You want to tell us about yourself? How you got to Rotary, please?
So it's kind of took the scenic route. So my husband actually volunteered with the Red Cross, and then he met Ken Robinson, and he became a member first, and then I'm an extension of my husband. So here we are. I'm originally from Jamaica. My husband is originally from New York, but he grew up in Alabama. He has a military and police background initially. I left Jamaica, did pediatrics and pediatric cardiology. So I currently work in Toledo here. And so we got involved with the Rotary initially with the Toledo Rotary. And I think I remember doing the Mesa bike ride and having not been on a bicycle for 30 years. It was an experience, but I got it done. And just being part of this family, it's just, we moved to this Rotary, the 6600, because of just logistics, and we were missing meetings. And the international, me being from Jamaica, just meeting other people from other countries has been really welcoming. It's been a really good experience. So thank you.
Great. That's so nice of you to share that with us, because I didn't know a lot about you either. Let's see here. I'm going to go again. I sort of skipped the alphabetically because you slid on a screen. Bob Cook. Want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your vast experience with Rotary? Oh, you're muted. Still muted, Bob. There you go.
Okay, sorry about that. Well, I came into Rotary probably before many of you were born. I became a Rotarian in 1969 and a member of the Wapakoneta, Ohio Rotary Club. That's the Rotary Club that Neil Armstrong was a member of. He grew up in this little community of Wapakoneta, and he's the most famous of those people who have come from that area. My father was a past district governor before me. I served as a district governor of District 6600 in 1981-82. And some of you have spoken about the internationality of Rotary and how important it is and how it helps to bring people together and create understanding and goodwill. And Rotary has meant that for me. And it's one of the reasons I believe so strongly in Rotary, is it's a great organization dedicated to peace, but it's also dedicated to the service in practical ways of bringing help to people. And I think the biggest thrill we have as Rotarians is to honor our motto of service above self. And to the extent that we do that, we gain more than I think those we seek to serve. And so our club's a little different because we are spread around the country, around the world, and therefore we don't get to see each other personally very often. But I really compliment you, Steve, for putting this meeting together so that we get a chance to see all of our fellow Rotarians and get to know them and their histories. And it makes me want to reach out and invite some other people to come and join our organization. And I think it's worth doing this periodically so that we all are together as one Rotary family. So thank you all for being a part of this club. I'm glad to meet you all, even from this distance. And thanks for everybody for participating today. And Steve, I haven't heard from Pacifique.
Well, that's who I was going to point to next, because he's in the middle of my screen. And I will say, Bob and his wife Linda are some of the few Rotarians of our club that I have actually met live and in person. They hosted us when we were down in Sarasota, so we got to have a lovely get together with them. And I hope to see you guys in November. We're coming back your way again. Pacifique, sir, would you tell us about yourself?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Now I think we can hear you. Try it.
Perfect. I will try to speak
There
loud.
you are.
Yeah, so my name is Pacifique Nyonzima, and it has been such a wonderful experience to be part of the Rotary Club. It's something that I really enjoy. It really actually helps me to not even enjoying meeting each one of you from different part of the world, but also what Rotary Club is standing for. So how I was able to join our community here, my good friend Laura, she's not here today. She's a very good friend of mine. So I go to Kent State University, but I'm originally from Rwanda. So we met and then we talk a lot, and her and James invited me to speak. So when I spoke, I keep talking to James, and we kind of became close. And he asked me, "What about joining our club?" And you know, it was like, "Yes, I would do it." So, but I have been involved in the Rotary Club here in Kent area. We have a local club, so I go to visit. I go there very often. So that's how I end up joining our club. So I go to Kent State University, and it's wonderful experience to meet you, to hear from you, and it was such a pleasure to even see the young people being able to go to different countries to learn new culture. So it's wonderful, and it's needed for young people. So that's what we stand for, to empower young people to become global citizens. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Pacifique. I'm glad to
Oh,
hear that.
Laura is here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Laurel, hi there. How you doing recently back from Iceland, Ural?
I'm doing well.
Good. Well, you want to tell us about your enrollment with Rotary, and hey, even throw in a little bit about your latest travel adventure.
Sure. So I am Laurel, and I call myself like a global citizen because I was born in Honduras, but I was adopted by a family from Ohio. My mother's parents immigrated from Poland, and my father's parents immigrated from Finland. And then they adopted me. So I've lived, aside from 3 to 6 months in Honduras, I've lived in Ohio all my life. I currently work at Kent State University overseeing philanthropy and alumni engagement for the College of Communication and Information. I've worked at 4 different institutions focusing on philanthropy. And I got involved with Rotary, the Rotary Club of Strongsville back in 2009 when we received some, one of the organizations I was with, Ohio Guidestone, received some grant dollars from the Rotary Club. So they asked me to come speak. And of course, shocking, somebody said, would you like to be a member? And I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. But I joined and I really enjoyed it. I became the Strongsville structure different than the way we are, but I was the board member overseeing all of the international activities. So our focus was writing grants to build water wells in the rural Philippines. And then some job changes. I got drifted away from Rotary, but then the pandemic happened and I needed some human contact because I was being pretty strict with isolating, and I found Rotary, reached out to Jim, and the rest is history here. So I'm glad to be here. Sometimes my life has gotten a little crazy since I think April. It got to be a little turbulent, but hopefully it's calmed me down a little bit more and I can focus a little bit more on Rotary. But I like being a part of Rotary because especially this club, clearly we have such an international presence here. I like to get to know people from different backgrounds, different parts of the world, different professions, all of it. I'm passionate for diversity in the truest sense of that word. So good to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We got time for, I think, at least one more person. I'm going to throw the ball to Mr. Ray Stewart up there. Oh, yeah. Click on the magic mute button. If you can
there we are.
There you are, Mr. Ray. So I know one of the things that brought you to the wonderful world of Rotary is, the Hunt folks over there. What else got you involved with us?
Well, yeah, the big thing was when, I'm talking to Jim and Sue, and they said, well, the environment is a new area of focus for Rotary, and that got my attention. And then they said, and we've got this aspect of it, the Operation Pollination, and that was it. That's all it took. So I've been a champion for pollinators for quite a long time. Thanks, there's Sue's thumb sticking up there. So yeah, that's my thing. I'm a pollinator evangelist, and there was just a really good fit with Rotary, and so we're off and running. You may be aware that there was last week there was a big signing ceremony for the district leadership out near Defiance, Toledo area. They were showing us this project. I think there was 12 different Rotary clubs pitched in for a project with the Black Swan Conservancy. They're restoring about 60 acres of floodplain along the Maumee River. They are committed to planting 6,600 trees in that property to help in its restoration. So it will be a swamp forest floodplain area, just like the old Great Black Swamp of the Maumee Basin used to be before settlement. So it's a wonderful project, but it was also a signing ceremony for Operation Pollination. So as a district, we are now committed to Operation Pollination. I got to meet Mike Noble, who is our district conservation chair, and we had a wonderful conversation at this event, and we're cooking up some stuff. So stay tuned.
Okay.
We're going to make this Operation Pollination a real thing.
Great. Oh, well, wonderful, Ray. Well, hey, we so enjoyed. Thank you again for inviting us to your house. I'm sorry my wife collapsed your front steps. I'm glad they're fixed.
Oh, well, I needed a little wake-up call. It was time to redo those. It is now done. They're solid as a rock, and we are
And
ready
there's
to
the
welcome
downside.
visitors to the front door once again.
The downside of the insect world, though, they can be our friends, they can be our enemies as they eat some of the wood.
Yeah, oddly enough, that's what they do.
I think the one person I haven't hit on is Dave Doherty. Hi there. You're going to be our big program. You are our foundation chair. And in November, you are going to be putting on our program for us. But what brought you first to Rotary?
Well, I have been a community person most of my life in terms of what I've done. But I started out in Pennsylvania as a youngster, graduated high school, went into the Army and did my Army experience, graduated from college in a state college in Pennsylvania, Clarion University. I went to work for a nonprofit organization. Actually, I worked for county schools as a speech therapist for 6 years right out of college. But then I went to work for a nonprofit organization, the Easter Seal Society. And my boss at the time was a Rotarian. And I saw what he was doing. And when I had an opportunity to move to a new job, actually in Michigan, in the Detroit area, I joined a club there and very quickly became vice president. But then I took a job in Connecticut as the president CEO of a rehabilitation center. So my background has been rehabilitation, both medical and vocational rehabilitation. There, I became president of the Hartford Rotary Club. I think it was 1986, 87, and went to the international convention in Munich, Germany. My wife and I had a lot of good opportunities there. But from that area, from Hartford, I took another job in Mansfield, Ohio, where I became president of the Mansfield Rotary Club. Mansfield, as most of you know, is in District 6600. I've had a lot of opportunities to do some things. One of the ones that you know here that you might relate to is I was chairman of MESA back a few years ago. I had a 2-year stint as chairman of the MESA board. And it was during that period of time that we began the hunt in earnest for our own facility, which we subsequently obtained in Fostoria. I have had an opportunity to be involved in national organizations as chairman of the board, 2 of them in the rehabilitation area. I was president of the JC chapter, which was a state award-winning chapter back in Clearfield, Pennsylvania, many, many years ago. Right now, my wife and I have moved to Evansville, Indiana, where we live literally right beside our son and daughter-in-law, and they have 3 little girls that keep us really busy. So if you want to know what we're doing these days, that is what we're doing. And I thought I might try to hold up a picture here as I'm talking, just to give you an idea of how pleasant it is. I'm not sure whether we can see that or not. Oh, there we go. So that's the kind of life I live right now. Thanks for asking.
Oh, thank you. Chris?
I just wanted to add on very quickly that Iceland is my most favorite place in the universe, and I've planned trip number 4 there. So if anyone needs any travel advice or insights onto the land of fire and ice, please feel free to let me know. Apparently, I'm so Icelandic obsessed, I've been asked to publish a guide on it for vegan travel to Iceland. So I gladly said sure. And they said, you actually get commission for this. I said, well, I was just going to do it for free, but I'll take some money for it. So anyone wants to meet up in Iceland, let me know.
Wonderful. I've loved your pictures and everything there on Facebook. Thank you so much for sharing that. Well, we have just reached the hour end of this adventure, Mark, and I know people have things to do. I was going to say, Chris and Eli, I know you're going back to the festival today to do that. And if you guys want to unmute for a second there, and Miggy, that's going to be the last question I'm going to ask, and then I'll let people, do what we would like to do. Do you two think you'd be interested in joining Rotary a few years down the line? Mr. Miggy, I know the answer for Eli. He's got his mom right next to him.
I have no option whether I want to or not.
Yeah. What you think, Miggy?
I'm pretty certain I'll look into it, because it's obviously an advantage into my future, and it's something that I can hold behind my career, which will lead me to a better place in my future, which will give me a higher up from the regular. So I think I should definitely look into it, and I think it would be fun if I join, and it would be a whole new experience, I would say. So probably yes. My answer would be yes.
Good answer.
That's what we were hoping out of the whole cultural connection thing. I think really is the bottom line, is to let you guys learn about what Rotary is while learning about each other. And apparently that worked. So yay for that. So unless anybody has anything else here, my last question is, for those of you in Europe and South Africa, if we did this on a bi-monthly basis, is this a decent time to do it at your time?
Yes.
For me
Totally
too.
yes from Greece.
Okay, so that's what I'm thinking, is we need to do this more often, and perhaps not just with the monthly meetings, but get together, say like in November, even on an off week or later in the year. I plan to do one in January for the folks in Asia and Australia, and find a good time for them, which may be in the middle of the night for us here in the US, but hopefully during the day for you folks in Europe and South Africa. And right now I've got Dan Cran on the line for doing a program for that, whatever he chooses to do. But the man just spent darn near a month in Europe, so a travel log if nothing else. So that is all I have for you folks. In October, the meeting is going to be at the normal 8 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll try not to get that screwed up. My wife, Penny, is going to be doing a short thing on genealogy. If you haven't already, we've had 5 people send us information, and she loves doing the research. Paul Sears from Finley is her latest subject, and she's finding out all kinds of interesting stuff that I hope he didn't already know. Mr. Jim.
Yeah, I want to add to that. I sent Penny, because I had my mother's side of the family. I was at a dead end, couldn't find anything. I sent it to Penny, and she has given me unbelievable information. So if you have you want to find out about something about your family, all you need to do is get her started. She has a starter questions of what you need, and she does the research. It's just incredible.
She's been doing it for 30 years, and even though she's an amateur, she seems to be pretty darn good at it. And we're doing it as a fundraiser for polio. Yes. And so, if you send a few bucks to the Rotary Foundation, then she's off on a tangent, and she loves doing it. And she'll try in October at the next meeting to give you some ideas on how you can do it yourself if you want to do that as well. So thank you all for joining. I've learned so much about you all, and I'm just so happy how well our club is going. And so I think I am going to call it quits here, and I will see you all next month. Hopefully you guys from Europe and South Africa, I may not see you because it'll be the middle of the night again, but we'll record it for you. And hopefully we'll get back together soon after that.
And don't forget to stop the recording.
I will. So thank you so much, Captain. Stop recording.